Hey, this is Overpass Insights. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about Showstoppers. Alright, so here we are, another day in isolation, just watching the world go by during the big pandemic. I hope you guys are all doing really well. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Showstoppers. Now, Showstoppers is a term that I learned from project managers when I was working in investment banks years ago. And I remember the first time I heard it, I thought it was a strange term. And I've been using it, I guess, for the last decade or a couple decades since. And I guess it makes total sense. So a showstopper is something in a project which stops everything going forward. And as an app developer who works for clients, the first meeting with the client, that's the first thing I'm looking for. The showstoppers, the things that would stop the whole project going forward. And I get this a lot, especially because I did some creepy spy apps before. I get a lot of stuff from people saying, all right, so I want this app, right, where I can install it on my wife's phone and I would be able to see everything she does and read all her WhatsApp messages and be able to hear all of her phone conversations. And I was like, okay, first of all, that's not even technically possible, right? We got all kinds of permissions and things like that. And even if it was possible, it wouldn't be possible for long because it's a violation of security and privacy, and Android doesn't do that and iPhone doesn't do it. All that kind of stuff, right? Another one, this is one that's a bit more topical because I actually have heard this, like, hey Eric, what if we do an app where you could hold the phone up to somebody's head and it would tell whether or not they have a fever and whether or not they have the coronavirus? And I'm saying, my whole thing is, well, it sounds stupid, but I do get this kind of questions from time to time. And I'll say, well, actually, there's no sensor to gauge temperature from a phone. At least I don't think so. At least there's no exposed APIs, right? And then they'll say, oh no, but my phone does because it says the weather and it says what the temperature is. And I'm like, but that's different. So that's the kind of stuff you hear all the time, and I get it a lot. So I'm always looking for showstoppers, even when we have the first client meetings. Say, I once had a boss who said, everything is possible given time or money, which is true when you're quoting for a project or when you get a scope creep and they say, hey Eric, is it possible to add this? Is it possible to add that? Yes, everything is possible given time and money. You need both of them. We need the time to do it, and we need to charge for doing it, which is usually they'll accept the time but not the money, or they'll accept the money but not the time. But dude, we need both. But the truth is, not everything is possible given time and money. Sometimes things just aren't possible. They're not technically possible. In fact, I want to make a prediction. So one of the new iPhone features that will come out in the next couple of years, or the Android features coming out, will probably be the temperature thing. Because you know what? I don't have a thermometer, and nobody will sell me one because they're all really busy, and plus I can't go outside. But I think that would be something that would be really useful in the future, especially given everything that's happened now. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. When you're quoting for a project, always look for the showstoppers first. I have literally had projects where I've gone to developers, like if I had something I wasn't quite sure about, like Apple Watch, for example, and I'll go to the developers and say, okay, this is what the client wants with Apple Watch. Is it possible to do this? And they'll say, yep, that's possible, right? And then we'll get into the project, or we're just about to start the project, and I do some research myself, and I find out it wasn't possible at all. So always do that research. It takes sometimes if it's something you're not quite sure about, you have to go through, look through not just the APIs, but also do the guidelines, because it could be the APIs allow it, but Apple's not going to approve it, or Google's going to suspend it. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. What kind of showstoppers do you guys get? What kind of showstoppers have you got from clients? Because if I wasn't under NDA, I could tell you about some pretty crazy stuff that people have suggested in the past. I was like, dude, that's not even possible. So anyway, that is it for today. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.